You were one of the first artists to bring reggaeton to the mainstream, both in the US and in the rest of the world. How does it feel to see the massive impact that reggaeton and Latin trap are having on pop culture right now?
The massive impact that I've seen around the world is amazing. Um, I remember back in the days that we didn't have any social media. It was very challenging to spread the culture, but little by little, people were learning about the Spanish culture and the urban movement. And right now, I see new artists representing the culture, new DJs, dancers. And it's not only a Latino thing right now. It's a global culture, and actually, I was dreaming about that when I was a little kid, and I always knew inside of me that we had something special that we just needed to working little by little, and people would understand it at the end of the day. And that's what happening right now. That I'm seeing everybody supporting the culture.
When you see these huge play counts on YouTube and how fast they go up, are you ever surprised to see how much of an impact music is making across the world?
The impact that music is having around the world is incredible. Because right now you have different sounds in just one platform, and that makes music very interesting. I see now music from Europe, music from Africa, trap music, Latino, U.S. Um, but everybody has the option to listen what they want to hear right now. It's not uh, a monopoly and an industry forcing you to hear this type of music. No, right now you have um, the right to choose whatever you want to hear, and that was the power. I can explain this. Um, the power of music came back to the people, and I always knew that at the end of the day, people will understand our movement, and right now people are supporting around the world. So I've been performing around the world. Let's see, for example, I've been in Morocco, I've been in Europe, I've been Israel, China, and people sometimes they don't know what I'm saying, but they feeling the music.
Where's the place that you were most surprised to find yourself out of all those places? Like that you never thought you would be?
I never thought that I would be performing in China. I was in China.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I don't know how it is, but that's the power of music, and it reminds me when I was a little kid because I didn't know for example, what Michael Jackson or Public Enemy or Big Daddy Kane or the Jamaicans and dancehall artists that I was listening to when I was growing up in Puerto Rico. I didn't know what they were saying, but I was feeling the music. Right now it's vice versa. Right now they're listening to Daddy Yankee. They don't know what I'm saying, but they feeling the music.
What was it like, so appropriately enough, what was it like in the early days as a reggaeton artist breaking into the global scene? Were there any challenges? And do you have any advice for young artists who are coming up?
It was very challenging, even because we didn't have, like, in the early '90s, we didn't have an urban movement. So I was part of the foundation. I had to create it. A lot of people don't know that the reggaeton word uh, was created by Daddy Yankee in Playero, in 1992. That was my first demo with Playero. I was singing right there in the hood, in the barrio, and the word reggaeton came out in one of my freestyle. And after that, right now Playero and I would put the name to the genre, and it's a big culture world right now. So it's amazing that we didn't have studios, no promo or marketing behind us. It was all organic, and I think till today, um, that's the good thing about the platforms, about the social media, that you only press a button and you listen whatever you want to hear. And it's very important that you know you don't have a machine enforcing what you want to hear. You have the option.
With these kind of changes, what advice would you give to young artists who are just starting out?
The advice that I give to the young artists is simple. Right now, at this stage of music, we have the same platform for everybody, for free. You know, and I tell this to the young artists, and even though to the veterans as well. You know, I tell them if you're not connecting in this stage, in this era of music, you're not connecting with the audience, it's because you're not doing the right thing in studio. Because right now it's easy. You just have to create your own channel, social media, and just make the right music, and people will connect. It's very easy right now. You don't have a major label, you don't have this and that. You just have to go to the studio and create the right music, and people will follow up. If you're not creating the right music, then, you know, in this time, then you got to go to the studio and make arrangement.
So, as you mentioned, you've been a leader of the reggaeton movement from the start, particularly since you came up with the name, from Gasolina all the way through to last year's Dura. What's been the biggest change you've seen within that music and culture over those years between the two?
The biggest change that I've seen is how fast has grown the genre. Has been incredible around the world. Right now, the new sound of trap music, that's another extension of a music. I like trap music a lot, and the artists. But we, you know, the good thing about the urban Latino is that we incorporate so many rhythms. You know, you have reggaeton, you have rap, you have trap, dancehall, you have Caribbean music, so many things, and that's what makes. I think that's what makes our genre so special.
So it's been also kind of a look back. It's been 15 years since Barrio Fino came out and put the world onto reggaeton. So, what does that album mean to you now?
Barrio Fino means it's the genesis of a new generation of music. That album is so special to me because a lot of people didn't know about reggaeton or Spanish rap or Caribbean music by that time. And we implement the culture around the world, from South America, Central America, Mexico, and the rest of the world. Been amazing, you know, and I gotta thank everybody for that, for the support of that album. Right now, Gasolina, still an anthem till today. You drop a Gasolina in a club and it feels like that song came out last night, you know, yesterday, like that. It's fire till today.
When you were making the record, did you think that it would have the impact that it did? Did you think that you would be looking back on it now in this way?
No, I just go to the studio and create music. Music is unpredictable. You don't have a formula to say this is gonna happen or you know what's gonna happen. You don't have that a script in music that doesn't exist. If you have it, please let me know. If you have a formula, let me know. But no, music is unpredictable and unexpected. When I'm in the studio, I'm not thinking about, oh, let me create this. This is gonna happen. I just make music because I feel it.
You're from San Juan, which has always been a hotspot for the next wave of reggaeton and Latin trap. Are there any new artists or sounds that you're excited about, or you know, people from that scene who are inspiring you right now?
I get inspired by a lot of people in San Juan, by the young talents. They gave me an energy, a boost to keep going. I mean, when I'm talking about Ozuna, about Bunny, all of them, they're doing a great job. And the new generation coming up, you think Bad Bunny and Ozuna, they're dope, they're really dope artists, but there's a lot of coming up right now in Puerto Rico. like 15 great artists and great kids that I know they're gonna be bigger. They're gonna blow up in the near future. Bray Thiago is one of them. Bray Thiago is doing really good, and he's been on. He's part of the Cartel family of my record label, but he's doing so good organically. And I told him that just connect with the audience. That's all you got D-White support, but you gotta understand that it all depends more of you than me. And he's been doing a great job in music, and he's connecting with the audience. That's the most important thing.
So looking forward again, you have a new video for Con Calma. Can you tell us a little bit about the song and what's happening in the video?
Con Calma, I gotta say, is one of my favorite songs because I grew up listening to Snow. He was still one of my favorite dancehall artists. His flow and the way he interpreted music is special. And he was like an underdog, and totally underrated. And he's really dope, And I grew up listening to Informer, and he gave me, the opportunity to make a new version of that classic. And I really had fun recording the song and also recording the video. And it's very special, the dancing, the little character, that people will see in the video. It's very, very fresh. It's a fresh and cool video.
You have a huge fan base worldwide. Is there anything that you want to say to your fans watching this?
I just gotta say thank you. I feel blessed. Blessed. That's the word.